back to finish off the South Downs Way. I'm in the little town of Steyning, which is where I finished the last leg. That was quite a while ago. Winter came and went. It was long and cold and wet, and I really didn't fancy getting wet and muddy, so I've waited. It's now late April, the weather's good, it's settled, the forecast for the next few days is good, and I'm hoping to get the last 40 miles done. I spent most of today travelling by train and bus to get here. I've just got 5 miles to walk to a youth hostel where I'm staying tonight. Pretty little place by the look of it. Lots of cobbles and some half-timbered houses. That's the Steyning Bowl that you can see there. Crossing the river Adder, I think it's A-D-U-R, not quite sure how you pronounce it. Yet another busy main road to cross. Lots of them on the South Downs Way. The way runs east-west and all these roads run north-south. Well, I'm pleased that that's behind me. Should be walking away from the noise now, back into the tranquility. 3 kilometres to the youth hostel. Right on the South Downs Way, Truly Hill Youth Hostel. So there's camping over there. Some pods up there. The youth hostel and a bar and a cafe. And I've got a room, twin-bedded room and breakfast booked and paid for, and I'm going to eat here tonight as well. Tuesday morning, just leaving Truly Hill YHA. Had a good night, nice meal last night, slept reasonably well, great breakfast this morning, so it was a good choice. I'm happy with the place. good value. Youth hostels are very different from how they were decades ago, but still a really important part of these of the accommodation options available on these paths, and I really hope they continue. So today, 14 and a half miles to the A27, and then a bus into Lewes, where I'm staying in I'm not sure if it's a pub or a hotel tonight, a place called the Dorset. We'll see when I get there. It looks like we start with a bit of a climb. I've just climbed half a mile or so from the hostel up onto the top of Truleigh Hill. The weather is it's a bit undecided. It could go either way today. I wouldn't be surprised if I got wet, if there was a heavy shower. Equally, it could just clear away and be a nice day, which I think is what the forecast is for. It's a bit breezy, cool, almost ideal walking conditions. I'm up high now and gonna be heading that way. Got a descent coming up, and at some point going to be walking through a feature called the Devil's Dyke, I think, a dry valley. That should be interesting. So, on we go. The village down there below the ridge is called Pyecombe, and that is Pyecombe Hill. Need to be careful how you say that. Wind chimes. That's a nice sound. Interesting advice. Yet another noisy main road to be crossed. This one's got a footbridge. These roads are a real feature of the South Downs Way, and not one of the better ones. Climbing up out of Pyecombe, the road goes alongside a golf course. And here comes the mower. This is one of the dew ponds that the South Downs are famous for. Allegedly just fed by atmospheric moisture. Hard to believe, really. Here at last is a road I'm happy to encounter. It's the A27, and that means it's the end of today's walk and a bus ride into Lewes. Good morning. It's day 3, Wednesday. I had a pleasant night in Lewes, which is a nice little town, pretty place. I'd never been there before. I'd like to come back and have a proper look at it. I believe it's got a castle and a few other things that are well worth seeing. Prosperous little town, I'd say. I slept well, I've had some breakfast, caught the bus back out to the South Downs way, and just about to start. It's 10 to 9. It's bright, but there's still a cold wind going, so it should be good walking conditions. There's the A27. I don't think we cross any roads today, which will be nice. And I don't think there's much, if anything, in the way of supplies or refreshments on the walk today. So I've got everything I need. I should be fine. Let's get going. Well, I was wrong. There is a road to be crossed, but I think it's quite a minor one. I was just chatting to a couple of people from the National Park Authority who were working on the path, digging it out and putting down a new surface of, I think it was grit and clay combined. So great work, and I suppose that's what the National Park Authority do with their money, helping improve access for all of us. So good work. Coming into a village called, I think it's pronounced Southease, not exactly sure, but pretty place and a fabulous looking church. Now there is a tap on the way today, that's great. I'm going to pop into the church and have a look. Well, what a wonderful little church this is. From the year 966. That's incredible. Okay, time for early lunch, I think. Finally, a bit of respite from the wind. It's it's a mixed blessing. It's keeping my temperature down, and apart from my back under the rucksack, I'm not really aware of perspiring today. If I am, the wind is evaporating the perspiration and effectively cooling me. But it's very noisy and it constantly affects your balance, which I suppose increases the work of walking, having to readjust your balance every few seconds or more often. But it's a natural thing, nothing to be done about it. This is a lovely location. And in case you were wondering, lunch today is going to be one of these John West on the go meals. I quite like this one. It's got chickpeas and bulgur wheat instead of pasta, which most of them have. And the good thing is that gives it more calories. As a slimmer you wouldn't want it, but as a hiker calories are good. And I'm going to have a chorley cake. Don't see them too often in the south of England. Eccles cake, yes, chorley cakes, which are similar, but I think are made with short crust pastry rather than flaky. You don't see them so often, so I picked them up as a change from my usual Eccles cakes. To drink, just water today. But it's all good. Well, if you wanted to start or end your day's walking on the South Downs Way here, this would be a great spot for it. But I'm only halfway through my day. Well, I was wrong. There is a cafe on this leg of the South Downs Way. I'm about to walk past another youth hostel. That's inflation for you. I think the path doesn't actually go right past the hostel, but it's only a few yards away, so that's a great location. Is my destination for the night. Seems to have 3 old-fashioned traditional pubs. Make that 4 pubs. Time to check in. Well, disappointingly, it's 5 to 4 and I can't check in till 5 o'clock. Good morning. Just about to leave Alfriston after a good night in the old Smuggler's Inn. Had some breakfast this morning. I had a good sleep last night. It's another lovely day. Blue skies. Can't tell if it's going to be windy yet because I'm down low. Probably will actually, there is some breeze. Today's walk starts with a few miles that are flat, heading down to the coast, and then sort of roller coasters over the Seven Sisters cliffs, and then finally Beachy Head before Eastbourne. I'm looking forward to it. Today will be my last day on the South Downs Way. And Alfriston, well, a lovely little place. Everything's quite expensive here, accommodation and food. It's a prosperous little town. This is where you get an option on the South Downs Way. There's the inland route via Jevington. I think it's just 7 miles to Eastbourne, or the coastal route, which is 10.5 miles to Eastbourne, and I'm taking that one. There's a white horse carved into the chalk up there on the hills. I don't think it's an ancient one. I think I read in the guidebook it's only been there since the 1970s. Still impressive. In some places, most places really, the South Downs Way is a broad, very well-defined track. And here, it's just a faint path along the edge of a field. Yes, the wind is very, very much a feature of today's weather as well. Oh, he's blindfolded. I wonder if you can see through that. I hope you can, mate. I've come out of the woods over this stile and presented with this view. I believe that is Cuckmere Haven, and the guidebook says it's one of the very few river estuaries on the south coast of England, certainly in the southeast, which isn't built up. You know, it doesn't have a village or a town around the mouth of the river. That's the Seven Sisters behind us, and we're going down now into the Burling Gap before we climb up again to Beltute Lighthouse. I'm hoping for a bit of respite from the wind, which is cold, noisy, and is being right in my face as I cross the Seven Sisters. Really not adding to the enjoyment of the day, I'm afraid. Close enough for me. I don't like the edges very much. Today feels like it's all been uphill. It really does. Walking into the teeth of this wind hasn't helped either. But should be nearly to the top of Beachy Head now. Well, the official end of the walk was a couple of miles back, but for me it was always going to be the pier. I always wanted to make it to here. So that's it done. The South Downs Way. If you've watched until now, thank you. Stick around for a minute or two. I'll do a likes, dislikes, and my final thoughts about the South Downs Way, which might be of some use if you're ever thinking of walking it. But anyway, thank you for watching. Well, some more time has passed. I'm back at home. I finished editing the video, and all that remains now is to give my thoughts about my likes and dislikes on the South Downs Way before I post it. In truth, it's more likes and observations, because there's very little about the South Downs Way to dislike. But we'll start with the things that could have been better. One thing to say is that the South Downs Way doesn't have a huge amount of variety in scenery. If you contrast it perhaps with the West Highland Way, which starts out with parkland, then goes through forest, skirts Loch Lomond for 20 miles or so, then goes across exposed moorland, climbs over mountains, and finally a remote valley before dropping down into Fort William. The South Downs Way is quite different. It's essentially downland and rolling chalkland the whole way. Well, that's just a, if you like, it's almost its strength as much as its weakness. But if you want variety, it's not big on variety. There could be more shops and cafes than there are. Some of the ones that do exist require you to drop down off the hills to access them and then climb back up. It's not badly provided, but it could be better. And I don't recall seeing any honesty boxes. Somebody will probably come back and tell me that there is one somewhere, but I didn't see any. And as I mentioned a couple of times, there are quite a lot of roads that need to be crossed. Obviously, where you drop down off the hills, you cross one of those roads that runs north and south and climb up again the other side. It's not really a problem, but it is just a feature of the South Downs Way. And then onto the likes, well, there may be a lack of variety of scenery, but what scenery there is absolutely stunning. It's almost England at its best. Low, rolling chalk hills, absolutely beautiful, and the views are stunning. And the lack of big hills is a strength. Not everybody likes slogging up 2,000 feet climbs. Most of the climbs on the South Downs Way are quite small. They might take 20 minutes to do a climb, but they don't take hours. And it's easy to get to, easy access by public transport. You can take, what I did, I took train to the start and the finish. I accessed Burriton via train from Petersfield, Amberley, Pyecombe, and you can get to Lewes as well by train and then bus out to the South Downs Way. And I also did use buses. You can get to Queen Elizabeth Country Park, Cocking, Steyning and Alfriston. I did the whole thing in 3 separate sections and didn't use my car at all. It's really easy to get to and from. That's a real strength. Overall, it's a great walk. I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad I did it. And the big question you ask yourself when you finish a walk like this is, would I do it again? And I would. If I did it again, I'd go the other way. I would go from east to west, from Eastbourne to Winchester. I probably won't do it again because there are so many other walks I want to do. But if time allowed, I wouldn't hesitate. It's a really lovely walk. So if you do it, I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Thanks for watching the videos. Oh, and one last thing to say. I found the Trailblazer guide to be really useful. So much useful information. This is the 8th edition. It was published in 2024, so it's quite up to date. Mapping, transport links, accommodation, itineraries. It's got almost everything you could possibly want to know. $14.99. Money well spent in my opinion. Thanks for watching.